works outside. So I had a lot of questions actually from you guys in terms of things like spiritual development, soulmate, everything like that. Now I can only speak from my own experiences as a reader and the things I hear and what comes up in my readings as well. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the first one. This is my first live, by the way. It's quite scary. Can you have multiple soulmates in a lifetime? Now, I really believe you can. Now, you do hear people that have 2 or 3 marriages and the third marriage really worked for them, for example, or the second marriage worked for them. I really believe you can have more than one soulmate, definitely. Some people just feel like if you break up with somebody and they're your soulmate, you're never going to find love again. And that's why they get stuck to that person sometimes, even if they're in a relationship or they're married or they've moved on. I do have people come to me that may still have attachments to somebody they broke up with 7 years earlier. Sometimes even 15 years later, they still feel attached to this person. And it's all because they think it's their soulmate. Hi, Bridget. And that's the biggest issue, is because that's actually holding you back from finding a really good, solid, loving, caring, committed relationship that you deserve. And it's almost like a lot of people are stuck in the past with these people because they think they're twin flames, soulmates, when really some of these people are just karmic connections, as in they come in to teach you a certain lesson. They're not meant to be with you for life. So I've always believed there are multiple soulmates. I've always believed there's multiple soulmates in this life, okay? There could be more than one. There could be three, okay? There could be three. And that's because you're always changing. I mean, I could say I was always quite spiritual, but some people, for example, may marry at 19, and when they get to 40, they might say they work in finance, they might give up, be a yoga instructor, or become a medium, or tarot reader, or something way off. Straight away, they're not connecting with their partner that they've been with for those 20 years anymore, their soulmate. And that's because spiritually they're grown as a person, which means they need somebody else, if they want a partner, to come in to match that new energy and where they are. You see what I mean? So that's why a lot of people, after 20 years of marriages and things like that, they can break down, because you've grown as people. And if you don't grow together, you're not meant to be together as such. And people try and cling on to that when really you're going down a different path, and you should just go for that path. You know, if your gut's telling you to do something, do it, and the right people will come in for you. I think the mistakes we make are when we try and hang on to a relationship for too long because we just think we love them. They're going to be the one and we adore them, but we know, you know, in your gut, you're not compatible, or they're not really loving, giving, and affectionate. They treat you poorly. We know that, and we block it out because we say they're my soulmate. Guys, I've done it all the time, don't get me wrong. So I do believe we have multiple soulmates. I believe soulmates come in at certain stages of your life, depending on your development as well. So some can stay for life and grow with you. Others won't grow with you, and they're with you until you're 30, for example. And then the next potential connection will come in to take you through the next stage in your life. Now, twin flames are different. There's only one twin flame because it's believed that a twin flame is half of you. It's almost like the feminine, masculine. Okay, so when you come down here, they believe your soul is split. Not on every lifetime. Not on every lifetime. That's another mistake as well. Your soul is split in two. Okay, and you can when you meet your other half, it's half of you, and there'll be a knowing. It's meeting yourself, but in a male version or a female version. Now, the issue with twin flames is they are often here to teach you the hardest lessons, and they're the most traumatic relationships, usually. Okay. Also, you don't have a twin flame in every lifetime. You may only reincarnate with your twin flame every, like, 5, 6 lifetimes. Maybe there could be 15 lifetimes before you reincarnate with your twin flame. They don't always come here, okay? And like I said, it's usually to teach you extremely hard lessons, and that's why it's extremely volatile, and that's why it's back and forth. And there's like an insane chemistry that you will never forget them. Even when you're 80, you'll still remember that connection, even if you haven't seen them in 40 years. That's that kind of twin flame energy. But there's not many twin flames usually that can like coexist in a very peaceful, harmonious relationship. And if they do, it's usually a lot later on in life, not really in the early stages. So yeah, twin flames, there's one. Soulmates, I believe there's definitely multiple soulmates in this life. So again, guys, this is all based on my experience as a reader and my beliefs as well. Okay, other people may have different beliefs, but in general, one twin flame and you can have multiple soulmates. Right, here's the next question. I am blocking my spiritual development as I cannot do my shadow work and I'm stuck. How do I move on? basically, shadow work is when you want to progress spiritually, you need to do shadow work, which is looking at all the shadow aspect of yourself. So it could be, a lot of it could be like past trauma and things like that that's holding you back. Jealousy, self-esteem, confidence issues. It's all these things internally that you avoid and try and ignore. And when you do shadow work, you're really reflecting and looking at those aspects of yourself and thinking, well, why have I got so low self-esteem? Why do I keep attracting all these people that treat me so terribly? When you start asking those questions and looking in at yourself internally, that's kind of almost like looking into the shadow work and your shadow self and the less than positive aspects, hence shadow, they call it, okay? The thing is, you can't force it. Some people think shadow work's going to be done, in a year, I'm going to go through my shadow work and then everything's fine and I'll be spiritually enlightened. It's bullshit, okay? It can take years to heal and go through shadow work, years and years. Some people will be doing it for 50 years, so don't force it. Don't force it. If you're stuck at a certain point when you're trying to heal, that's because you've still got healing to do on that certain subject, for example. So if you can't move on from this subject and you keep thinking, I just feel really stuck and I still feel very fearful in relationships, that's because you haven't done the shadow work yet, have you? You haven't healed from it. So don't try and rush forward in spiritual development, okay? It could take years for you to start feeling more confident in yourself and in relationships before you can release that part of yourself and move on to the next level. You know what I mean? Don't force it, okay? There's still things that need to be healed. If you feel stuck and stagnant in your development, that's because you're still healing. You're still processing. Can't be forced, okay? How do I strengthen my intuition? I'm laughing at this because straight away, you're meant to, meditation is obviously, everyone says this is a massive one. I bloody hated meditation. And it's because I have kind of a very hyper, as we would say, like kind of ADHD mind growing up, runs the family. And I just could not shut down at all. And I was quite lucky to be very linked anyway, where I could kind of get the information, the images very, very easily. It came quite natural to me. I'm quite grateful. I'm very grateful for that. But I will say, when I did do meditation, I got clearer answers because I was more specific. So when it comes to your intuition, when you do meditation, I always say do a guided one, as in definitely try and walk somewhere where there will be a bench and you will have a guide or a family member there and ask them specific questions. So before you do it, go in with your questions and sit down and really sit there and see who comes along to talk to you, okay? And they could just show you a random thing like a shell or a beach. You know what I mean? Write it all down. Write it all down. Write it all down. The more you do this, the more you do meditations and things like that, the more it's going to happen naturally to you. Completely randomly, you might have a friend call you about a relationship that's breaking down and she's devastated. And over time, you'll find these words come into your head. You'll find these words come into your head. She needs space. Space. She needs space. And that's when your intuition starts to kick in. You'll be to go into the supermarket and these little random things pop in your head. I need to call my mum. Mum. Maybe I need to call my mum. Why am I thinking mum? And that's because maybe she's going through a stressful time and your intuition is starting to kick in and say, call her. She's trying to reach out to you. But meditation, I have to be honest, you do have to kind of do it. You have to shut your mind down. And the only way you really can do that, I find, is through meditation, okay? So meditation, doing that for a year and a half every week in a spiritual circle really helped me massively. I'm not going to lie. It really helped me massively. When it came to going on to platform and being a fledgling medium and doing that kind of work, it just all came to me when I was on platform. It was so strange. So I really believe it did actually help me a lot. And I hate to say it, guys, but meditation, intuition, it's meditation every single day. Go in with specific questions you want answered, but you don't get the reply straight away. You might get it 4 days later. You might see it on a poster. You might be walking around town and see your answer on a poster or a flyer and be like, whoa, that's freaky. And you will know when it happens because it will hit you like, shit. Wow, I asked that 4 days ago. Now the information looks like it's there. So just be aware of your surroundings. Be open to it. Open to the answers I just heard. Okay. Why do I hear pitch ringing in my ears at times? Now, could be tinnitus, because I had that. But in my experience, again, usually in the morning before bed, that's the kind of times when we're very open to spiritual activity from our guides and angels. It's almost like we're kind of one step in their world and one step in our world, and that's the easiest time for them to reach us. It's just almost like they're just trying to say they're there. It's just almost like you'll feel a presence as well. Usually, it's not just you'll sense something, and that's pretty much your guides and angels stepping in. And I used to have a lot of ringing in my ears for years and years and years, okay? But then it got to the point where the ringing kind of stopped. I don't get it as much. And then I went to the next kind of level where I started to get the thoughts and the channeled words more. So it's almost like it went up a level for me. So I had quite a few years of the ringing in my ears before I went to the next level, which was hearing things, and I don't mean a voice, but we're going to cover that in a minute. But in general, it is believed it's your guides just being around you, saying they're there in your presence, they're around you, okay? It's just making you more aware spiritually that there's other things than just you here. You know what I mean? That your guides and angels are around you. It's trying to open up your awareness. So I just heard if you are hearing ringing in your ears a lot, they're trying to make you more aware of your surroundings, and there are guides and angels. And I've just heard that to make you aware, okay? Why I used to get 11111. Yeah. Why do I keep seeing 222, 333? Now, nearly all these numbers have a meaning. If you have a look, if you Google it, it could be, one will be spiritual development, one will be 333. I can't remember them all. Would be manifesting money. They've all got specific meanings, so that's why you see them. So when I used to get 1111, I think that meant about spiritual development. Okay, then that means at that time that, sorry, I just saw a message there and it's gone. That means at that time there's a specific message for you. So if you keep seeing the same numbers again and again and again, Google it, find out what that message is. And it does my head in, because I saw 1111 for bloody ages. And the weird thing is, again, the moment I started going down my spiritual path and doing it full time and really accepting it, it stopped. It's almost like they were telling me to develop myself, and not to ignore it and block it out. And the moment I opened up myself, those numbers completely stopped. It was insane. It just stopped. And I don't really see them anymore, if I'm honest. So it is a message to you, and it can go on for years and years, okay? And it's almost like I hear it again. I hear guys wake you up. It's trying to wake you up. They're trying to wake you up and make you more spiritually aware. I hear spiritually aware and wake you up. Right. How do you determine your life path? Now, again, I wrote this last night on YouTube for somebody, okay? So I can only speak from my own experiences when it comes to life path, but it's something usually that will come second nature to you, okay? And you feel at home when you do it as well. It just feels second nature. You feel at home when you do it. And it's often a reoccurring theme that will come up in your life, no matter what career you do. So you can be, for me, for example, I've always been spiritually inclined. I had a book on witches when I was 7. I was obsessed. I wish witchcraft was real and I could do spells and stuff like that. And it's only when I got to 17 I realised you actually can, that you have actual Wiccans and it's a religion as such. So that really woke me up. But it's always been there for me. And I always felt at home when I was reading anything spiritual, anything. And I'd go to the library and buy books from a very young age, anything I could possibly get on anything spiritual from the age of 11. And I remember sitting in my room about angels and life after death, and it made me feel really good. Like, do you know what? This is just starting to go off now. So I'm going to have to move. We've got roadworks going on. It's really annoying. At the moment, it's quiet here, but it probably won't be in a minute. Any second, this is going to go as well. Here we go. So yeah, it was something that was always there. And I always came back to it as well, I always came back to it the whole time. Oh, guys, I can't believe on the one day I made my first live, there's loads of roadworks going. So yeah, like I said, it's second nature to you. It's something that's second nature. It's a reoccurring theme. It could be teaching. You could work in finance and find you really have an affinity with teaching children or animals. You may end up thinking you want to do like a veterinary course like years later after being a nurse for years and years and years. It's that kind of reoccurring theme that will always come up for you. And that's how I found it for me. It just felt like it was home. It was second nature to me. It felt very natural to be kind of doing this as well, So, sorry guys, it got me really flustered because I had all that noise in the background. Right, last one, because I reckon it's going to get very noisy again. I see faces when I drop off to sleep, but never hear spirit. How can I hear them? Now, you may never hear spirit. I don't hear spirit. I don't hear spirit. To be honest, I'm pleased I don't. It would scare the crap out of me. Um, but in general, again, you see faces before you fall asleep because usually that's opening up spiritually to be more in tune to these kind of energies around you. And also because it's that step again, I said, where when you're falling asleep, your one foot is more in their world than it is in our world. You're kind of drifting between the realms, astral as well. And that's why many people start to see faces. And that's another sign of you actually growing spiritually and being more open to these energies, okay? But to hear them, you don't always hear them. I hear them by words in my head, which sounds insane, but I'll hear them through a word in my head. When I do readings, like he's not good enough, he's not good enough, he's not good enough, and it will be on repeat and repeat. So I don't hear an actual voice like somebody's in the room with me. It's something you hear in your head, and it's almost like I know it's not my voice. I can't explain it. I know it's not me because I'll just be thinking of something completely random and then this word will pop in my head and I know it's not me and they're trying to give me a message. And to be honest, over time you just trust it. If you've been doing this long enough, you just start to trust it after a time, and what you get coming through, you just know it's real. You know it's real. And a lot of it for me is as well, it makes common sense. It's not away with the fairies or something really weird. It's just complete common sense. It just makes complete sense to you, the information they're giving you as well. So I'm going to stop before we have more roadworks here anyway. But that's some basic questions I got based on my own spiritual development. Everything's different. You know, everybody has different paths, okay? This is just based on my experiences. That's it. And I'm off, guys. And now this is going to be really funny because now I need to know how to stop this video because it's my first live. Let's see. Are you sure that you're streaming? Okay.